So, the Vikings have gone ahead and traded former first round draft pick cornerback Mike Hughes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs get Hughes, and they also recoup a 2022 7th round draft pick for Minnesota. Minnesota gets a 6th round draft pick. So, obviously, didn't work out with Mike Hughes, fair to say. Now, from a career standpoint, in his 3 seasons in the NFL, he had 13 pass deflections. He allowed 64.6 completion percentage against him, 8.1 yards per target, 12.5 yards per completion, had 2 interceptions, allowed 6 touchdowns, and had a 99.98 quarterback rating allowed. All of those numbers are from Pro Football Reference. Now, more numbers. Well, not really, but we'll get into a little bit more numbers later. I'm a little shocked they did this with Gladney still up in the air. However, I think that kind of bodes well for Jeff Gladney, just because I don't think they would do this if they're like, well, he's going to be suspended forever. So, I'm kind of thinking maybe this bodes well for Jeff. Maybe not, because it does open up a roster spot, which we will also get into a little later, because I also did think he could be traded, but I thought it was more of like a final cut situation at the end of the preseason, and I also thought he would compete for the punt return job. As we know, in Minnesota, punt and kick returns are not good right now. So he had 16 career punt returns for Minnesota. He didn't have any in 2020, so in 2018 and 2019, he combined for 16 total punt returns for 117 total yards, 7.3 yards per return, and a 23 long, never scored. Excuse me. Now, his kick return, the last time he did a kick return was in his rookie season in 2018. He had 4 of them for 107 yards, 26.8 yards per return, and a 46 long. Never scored a touchdown there either. But given that that Amir Abdullah has done a lot more kick returning than punt returning, and they drafted Nwangwu and Smith Marset, those 2 guys also have not done punt returning. So it wouldn't be too, far-fetched to think Mike Hughes would come into camp basically as direct competition to the likes of KJ Osborne and Chad Beebe for the punt returning job, even if it's as, he also serves as cornerback 4, cornerback 5. So I thought that would also be a thing. So I'm a little shocked they did that, given Gladney plus the punt and kick returning issues they've had, and he basically wasn't available to them at all last year, as he went down after starting just 2 games, because as we know, injuries derailed this man's career in Minnesota. He only played about half of the games. Technically, there was a possible 49 games. He played in 24. So, roughly half of the games he did not show up in. And I'm saying 49 just because there was a playoff game. So, didn't play in that game because of a neck injury. The last 2 years has been neck injuries, which is also something you should not play around with. But I'm assuming he's basically fully healthy. Otherwise, I don't think Kansas City makes this trade, because that seems kind of, dumb on their part. But I'm assuming he's healthy now, and he's kind of ready to go. Maybe he needed a change of scenery, things of that nature. But in the meantime, this does open up a roster spot on the Minnesota Vikings, and it saves roughly $1 million against the cap for whatever that's worth at this stage. Now, that's per over the cap, by the way, from where I got that from. Now, they have been rumored around Dede Westbrook and Ryan Kerrigan, 2 guys they could technically target now that they have a free open roster spot. Now, however, I want to go over a couple veteran corners strictly because I'm not sure about the Jeff Gladney situation, whether there's a suspension coming or what. So, if this bodes well for Gladney, that basically means there are some false things out there about Jeff Gladney. However, if they're just like, we got to move on from Mike Hughes anyway, and they still don't know about Jeff Gladney, you're probably looking at veteran corners. So, some veteran corners to keep in mind. I think Steven Nelson might be one of the biggest names out there currently. Garyon Conley, maybe. He's a 26-year-old corner coming off his rookie deal. He kind of fits their MO of signing players. They tend to just sign, well, for the most part, they tend to sign players that are right off of their rookie deals, and they can just go right into that. Brian Poole, he's a much more veteran. He's in his 30s, but he has been pretty productive the last couple of years as a nickel corner, with Mike Hughes being a nickel corner. And they try to put Gladney into the nickel. Mackenzie Alexander is, right now, without a doubt, the number one nickel. But with Jeff Gladney in the air, do you want another nickel now that you lost Mike Hughes? Brian Poole could fit that, as could Nickel Roby Coleman. So those are just kind of the names that popped out to me just on a surface level basis, on a quick note. But I would like to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Always a good thing. And until next time, I bid y'all adieu.